Hello, hello. We're back for another week of Launch Trolls Football. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Chelsea.
and it's very rare that both of us come in here heartbroken our team's lack of success from the past Sunday. But it's hard to be that down when it's Thanksgiving week. So yay! I'm officially off from work this the rest of the week, and next time you'll be seeing us will be on I guess technically will be on Thanksgiving itself.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I guess the
We're gonna
Bears
start with the Steelers.
I guess I have to say the Bears are good now, even though I don't think the Bears are that good.
They're 8-3. I've
They
been saying this.
and I keep and they to me are the most okay. I can't even talk that much trash about them because man, they just the Steelers defense is bad. It's the defense the past 5, 6 years has been literally TJ Watt making big splash plays for them, which he did. He's passed his brother on the all-time sacks list with a strip sack that was covered for a fumble touchdown. So.
That was pretty impressive. I watched a lot of JJ Watt as a child, and it's pretty crazy to think TJ passed him.
Yeah, and Matthew, like TJ Watt's probably if not his favorite defensive player, he's up there with in terms of one of his favorites. Like JJ is honestly him and Gronkowski are the same player in terms of their peak was greater than anything I saw. It's just injuries kind of derailed their careers.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
I
unfortunately.
honestly didn't watch any of the Steelers games, so was it as bad as you were making it out to be? Or,
Well, they lost, so I'm always gonna be doomer somewhat. But it was
right?
it's one of those things like, okay, Rodgers is not playing, so that's not good. They're in Chicago, okay, that's not good. The offense still scored 21 points, which you expect from an Aaron Rodgers led offense, let alone a Mason Rudolph's led offense. So they got the points up there. They scored what should have been enough when you have the most high paid defense in the NFL. But no, it wasn't really that much. It wasn't that good of a game in terms of like the Bears could still move the ball passing wise. DJ Moore had 2 touchdowns, which didn't help my fantasy team because he was on my bench. But that's just sour grapes. But no, this has been the story about Pittsburgh the past few years, and especially the story this year, as in their secondary isn't that impressive. The second they dropped, I believe, 1 or 2 different times that should have been picked. They just dropped it, straight up dropped it. Um, it's painful to watch just because you know if they are not if TJ Watt or Highsmith or if they're not getting after the passer, the quarterback, there's not much you can do because rushing wise, they can stop. They're a decent run stopping defense. For some reason, Chase Brown runs up and down the field then when they play the Bengals. But any other team, they usually do a fairly decent job stopping the run. But but they just never have been able to, at least in the past few years, have been able to stop the passing game. It bit them in the foot. And now they're technically out of playoff contention because Baltimore owns the tiebreaker of their division record. It's
That's tough,
and is
especially considering the season Baltimore's had so far.
yeah, I knew that Bengals game was going to bite them at the end because they should have won that game on Thursday night, and this game is going to bite them too because they did have a shot at the end, but Rudolph couldn't lead them down the field like that. Um,
I
again,
mean, I'll go ahead.
I say he played like a backup. Well, he played decent for a backup. Like he scored 21 points on granted not the best Bears defense, but yeah, 8-3 is a good enough Bears defense. But still, it was one of those things that you it's the same most stories with the Steelers that they just can't. Any team with a decent quarterback can throw the football up and down the field on them as long as they have a decent offensive line to stop the pass rush. The pass rush is so much. You watch it with the Colts game like a few weeks back. The Colts really it was really more like they strip sacked Deion Jones I believe twice. They forced a lot of quick throws, mistakes led by mistakes from Jones. It was they Johnson Taylor didn't really have that much of a game. That's the story with Steelers defense the past few years. They're doing a decent job stopping the run, except for I guess Chase Brown and honestly Lamar and Derrick Henry. And if the pass rush isn't coming to them, any halfway decent quarterback's gonna pick them apart, and it's painful to watch because now they're playing Josh Allen next week, and who's someone who's both running and throwing, and who has extra days because he played Thursday night. I'm I'm not gonna crash out. It's Thanksgiving. I don't have to work tomorrow. It's I'm fine. I'm happy. I have my Steelers towel. I have my Steelers, my little, my stress towel, and and I did bring out the Josh Allen, but that Bulls. I'm so angry. I'm talking about basketball now. So yeah, they
Yeah. No, I mean, it was tough. I mean, a couple of notes. For one, honestly, as a non-Steelers fan, when Aaron Rodgers got ruled out of this game, I didn't expect you guys to win, especially with Mason Rudolph. So the fact that you lost is not all that surprising to me, considering the offensive performance. Now, the defensive performance was just putrid. I mean, you go out, you get Jalen Ramsey, you go out, you spend all this money on your defense, and they give up 31 to Caleb Williams, who, though this is probably his best season that he's had thus far in the NFL, he is definitely still very inconsistent. When he is on, he is on. But when he is off, he turns the ball over like 3 times. So he hasn't figured out how to be a consistent starter yet. But I mean, he was good enough dropping 31 on that defense. I would say that this loss is more on the defense than the offense. I mean, you can only expect, a backup quarterback on offense to do so much. So
yeah.
I mean, I would place this mostly on the defense. And I mean, the way that the Steelers are built, I think, is how a lot of defenses that are good are built, right? You have a really, really good pass rush. And if your pass rush can do its job, that makes it a lot easier on the secondary, and you can force a lot of turnovers, especially for guys that don't have great pocket awareness that are going to fumble, like we saw with Daniel Jones. Like he just didn't have great pocket awareness in that game. But if you're playing a really good O line and they shut your D line down for the vast majority of the game, and it falls on the secondary and the linebackers to carry the defense, it's just not going to happen. I mean,
Well,
legitimately, there are very few teams that are built with a stronger secondary than a pass rush that are Super Bowl contenders. The crazy thing about it is that I think one team that actually is built that way is the Colts. After going out and getting Sauce Gardner, they have arguably the best secondary in football, but they literally have no pass rush. They have Buckner, who's on IR right now. Laiatu Latu has been good. He has 3 picks, 5 sacks on the year. Really good, sophomore season. But outside of that, they really don't have anyone else who can
yeah,
consistently pressure the quarterback. So it's like we have the reverse problem of you. Like I would love your pass rush, but I don't want to give up my secondary for that. Imagine if the Steelers had Sauce and Chartavius Ward and Cam Bynum and Kenny Moore and Nick Cross. You guys would probably be undefeated on defense, but that's just
yeah.
not how it is right now, unfortunately.
I said at this point you want to just talk about your Colts. I talk about
No, no, I
okay.
was just using them as an example because, if you look at a lot of the best defenses that Super Bowl contenders have had, they usually have talent all over the field, but a lot of the times the reason that they're as good as they are is because they have an elite pass rush. And the Steelers have that, which is why they could go far. They can get consistency out of their pass rush. It's just a matter of, is the rest of the defense, able to carry if they can't? That's the problem.
Well, one team that's definitely can be carried by their defense is the Houston Texans. Uh,
Man, they are crazy.
they 8 sacks, 3 turnovers, and beating Josh Allen with David Mills as your quarterback is insane.
It is.
I like them. You have competition in that division now. I'll say this. Everyone thought the Colts would go run away with it. Everyone said CJ Stroud, even Stroud's not is still out right now. Everyone said, "Oh, this is the Colts division. Like the
I
Titans
mean,
aren't that
CJ
good."
Stroud still was not playing well when he was playing, so I'm still not that frightened of the offense, but that defense is probably the best in football. It is really, really good.
It's them in Denver. Them in Denver, or they're just gonna be carried by their defense because
Yep.
I'm not gonna say that's the worst I've seen Josh Allen play because he didn't wasn't that impressive his rookie year. That's the
Yeah.
most uncomfortable I've seen him play like in recent memory. He
I mean,
just
those are Madden numbers. 8 sacks in one game. I mean, that's practically
uh,
unheard of in real life.
that was our Fantasy Friday. We just said we usually give it to a player, but like we can't even give it to a player. This is just the entire Texans defense. They just popped out and showed. And they saved us.
That
And they
JJ
saved.
Watt was just watching that game like, this is amazing.
This is
Probably wishing he was out on the field with them.
JJ Watt and Brian Cushing and all those boys from
Yeah.
the
And
early
D'Amico
2010s.
Ryans. I mean,
Yeah, it's just like, man, this. I was watching throughout that game, and I'm just thinking. I'm right. First of all, I'm jealous. I'm like, this is the Steelers defense I remember growing up. Why can't I have this? Why can't I have this anymore? But also, I'm thinking, how good is like because everyone thought the Texans were they just wiped the Texans off after probably Halloween. The offense wasn't look that good. This two-back system of Nick Chubb and Woody Marks wasn't looking that good. CJ went down with the injury even before the injury. Like you said, he was struggling. Uh,
Their defense has kept them in the playoff race.
it's them and Denver.
That's the only way to say it. I mean,
It's so insane how them and Denver to me feel like the same team. It's just like a subpar offense with injuries and just
that's
this
why I'm not that scared of them
and this
because they remind me of Denver.
that would make me scared of them. Okay, well, we'll see.
We beat Denver. I mean,
You guys still have two games left with Houston, so
uh-huh. Yep. Don't remind me. And two with Jacksonville. Yay.
well, Jacksonville they I didn't watch much of the Jags game, but they were able to pull one out somehow.
Okay, here's the thing. If there is a team in the division in the AFC South that I'm more afraid of, it is Houston. Strictly because of their defense and because when CJ Stroud is on, he's a top 10 quarterback. Like no doubt. When he's on, he's on. Nico Collins is really good. I mean, definitely he has some juice. The rest of their offensive talent doesn't really scare me. I like Jaden Higgins. I think he's pretty good. But the Jags won the game that they played this week, and Trevor Lawrence turned the ball over 3 times, and they won. I'm just,
You're done.
we will manage to lose one to them because that always happens, and that's our luck. But I'm not scared of losing the division to them. I really don't think the Cardinals are that good. I mean, Jacksonville's going to go up against teams that are better. You turn the ball over 3 times, you're not winning that game. I mean, I'm not saying it's a discredit to Jacksonville of how they bounced back because they did, and it was impressive being able to overcome those turnovers. But I'm really not that scared of them. Their record, I think, makes them look better than they are. Now, the only reason I would be scared of them is if the Colts keep blowing games. Now, if the Colts keep blowing games and don't beat the teams that they should beat, then I'll be more scared of them. But just practically speaking, looking at Jacksonville, looking at how their offense performs, I mean, Brian Thomas is like non existent. Trevor Lawrence turns the ball over at least 2 times a game, either because his receivers are incompetent or because he gets strip sacked or whatever. So I'm really not that scared of them outside of the one game we lose every year. I really don't think we lose the division to them, but their record, I think, makes them look better than they are because if you look at some of the games they've won, they haven't really played great, but they have had some good games. So, I mean, that's a credit to them, of course.
Um, but again, like Houston, Jacksonville, Colts still have the lead, but it's not something to honestly be comfortable with. I know you're very much like I'm not worried about Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not taking the division.
One game. We will lose in Jacksonville. I'm worried about that. We shouldn't have any other issues besides that, in
But
theory.
but I remember Jacksonville, they started the season pretty. They started, I believe, like 4-1 or 3-1, and the one game they lost was the game when Brian Thomas just dropped a fourth down conversion catch on the team, and their opponent just marched on the field
That
to.
was painful.
That was the intensity because that was after when Bill went down. They
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and Browning came in, but they definitely have at least the talent wise to be a not a top team, but like be a wild card team, be a
No, to
team
be a wild card, yes.
compete.
I
That's
agree.
okay. I thought you meant like Jacksonville. They don't have a shot at anything. Like no, they can still make the
No,
wild
no,
card.
no. I mean, they are in the hunt right now. I mean, at this rate, the Chiefs probably aren't going to make it. The Ravens might not make it. I mean,
Fingers crossed.
the Steelers, who knows what happens? I mean, the Bengals aren't
Fingers
going.
uncrossed.
Yeah. So, I mean, the AFC is kind of just a crapshoot right now. So, it really wouldn't shock me if Jacksonville got in as a wild card, because I think that they do have enough talent to accomplish that. I don't think they take the division.
Well, one team that we all thought that was just dead in the waters and that kept turning the ball over was Dallas Cowboys, and which was probably the game of the week, the
Yeah.
4 o'clock game of the week. After going down 21 nothing at the start of the second quarter, after having two back-breaking turnovers, Dallas came all the way back in Jerry World to take the win, 24-21. The defense that everyone wrote off didn't allow a single point after like 11 minutes into the second quarter. They just shut the Eagles out.
Quentin Williams was a
He's Quentin
really good
Williams.
acquisition for them. He
He
played a great game.
like he showed why he was my other brother's favorite Jet for this era, and he's like the perfect run stopping tap nose
And they
tackle.
needed that. That's
And
exactly what they needed.
and my former guy George Crash Out Pickens has more receiving yards by himself than the entire Steelers receiving core.
So I have a question about that.
I'm not
When
angry.
you watch George Pickens, like, how does that make you feel? I'm going like therapist mode because if it were me and I were a Steelers fan and I was watching George Pickens pop off with probably the worst owner in football and not being all that dramatic and playing well, I would be so mad. Like every time that you see him, are you just seething? Because I feel like I would be.
Well, I'll put a nail on that worst owner in football. I don't think Jerry Jones is that bad of an owner. I'm thinking more like in terms of I know we always got a disagreement with that, but going to focus on George Pickens. Not really. I feel happy for him because I know the fact that he just had bad quarterbacks in Pittsburgh and
He did.
he
That's
was putting
true.
up solid numbers. So when the trade happened, I just said you can ask the people I was talking to about this. I don't think I was talking to you about this chat. I think I was talking to like siblings in the group chat. When you're the number two receiver with a pass-friendly offense with his amount of talent, I said he's going to have a great season. I didn't expect to see this. I thought he'll have a
No
big,
one did.
and the fact that CD went down for a few weeks and he was still putting up the yards he was it just shows the talent that Pickens had. That was basically you saw hints of it in Pittsburgh, but you didn't really see that much of it because he didn't trust any of his quarterbacks. That's a good quarterback. I don't like anyone who's criticized besides one terrible red zone end zone interception. I trust Dak with like putting the ball in his hand, being able to produce. I trust their receiving well. I trust Jake Ferguson and Pickens, and I sometimes trust CD, except for when he drops it. Just he has the worst hands I've seen from a great receiver since probably T.O. Since T.O. kept dropping
Yeah, it
passes.
was bad, dude. We posted a meme today or on Monday of him with no hands.
It's just I think the biggest story to this is what the heck is going on in Philadelphia? Because this is the Cowboys.
Yeah,
This is
seriously. And
the,
AJ Brown had a good game. That's the
Devontae
crazy part.
Devonta Smith had a decent game. Like the Dallas, they still can't guard the passing. Like they still have trouble. Like Pittsburgh, they still have trouble like in the secondary. But like Pittsburgh, they did a good job stopping the run because Saquon hasn't been doing much. Which I knew he wasn't going to pop out after the his usage last year. I thought he'd be more than this. He's not even
Me
like
too.
he's. It's not anything special from him at all. You're not even seeing hints about Saquon. Hurts. This is crazy for Philadelphia that like maybe they're just bored. Maybe it's like a Kansas City kind of thing where Kansas City they just like kind of walk through the regular season and says, right, no, we're making the postseason and then we're turning back on. I don't think they'll really be able to turn it back on because we saw this same scenario play out 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl, when they went to the Super Bowl and they ended the 2023 season on like a low note. I felt bad that Jason Kelsey retired after that because Kelsey went out not on the highest. Kelsey went out with like a 7 out of 8 game losing streak and they rebounded next year. But this might be a just a like in baseball with the Giants back in the early 2010s of winning World Series during the even number years and not making the playoffs during the odd number years. This may just be the thing with Philadelphia that on even number years they're going to at least make it to the Super Bowl, and on odd number years they're not even going to look anything close like the year before.
I think the crazy thing about the Eagles is that Jalen Hurts is having a good season. It's
Yeah,
not like Jalen Hurts
well,
has, 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. I mean, before this week, I'm pretty sure if you totaled his passing and rushing touchdowns compared to his interceptions, he was like 20 to 4 or something.
I will say he's
And
having.
I know some of the running ones are cheapies, I know, but not
Oh, not
all
even
of them
that.
are.
Oh no, I wasn't even going to say that. I was saying he's having a good statistical season, but that offense hasn't been impressing me whatsoever.
Honestly, their biggest issue is their O-line. I
Yeah,
think the reason that Saquon did as well as he did was not only because Saquon is extremely talented and one of the best running backs in football when he's on, but because that O line was so good, so dominant. I mean, You very rarely saw a defensive team take over a game because of the way that their D line was playing against that O line because it was so good. I think that the loss of Jason Kelsey was a big deal. And
Yeah,
they've had some injuries this season. I believe Lane Johnson is hurt right
he's
now, which
still
is
out.
also a big deal. I think Jordan Mailata had suffered some kind of minor injury earlier this year, maybe, or maybe it was Landon Dickerson. I think it may have been Dickerson suffered some kind of minor injury. I mean, you would think Saquon would be able to overcome some of that because he's so talented, but
I guess
I
not.
mean, I don't know. They really don't have an excuse. You have Saquon, who, when he's on, is arguably the best running back in football. You have Jalen Hurts, who is a top 10 quarterback. You have an O line, even if they're not as good as last year, they're still top 10 for sure. I mean, you have a good tight end. Is he inconsistent? Sure. I mean, at least in fantasy, he really only does something if he scores a touchdown, but he's still better than a lot of tight ends. You have Smith and you have AJ Brown. I mean, you really don't have an excuse. It's just strange. I honestly think it has more to do with Saquon and the O line than it does with the passing game, but that's just from watching limited amounts of film on them. I haven't really studied it in depth.
Well, that's their potential excuse. What's their division, quote unquote, rivals' excuse in the New York Giants for not being able to close out a single game this year and for officially being the first team out of playoff contention?
Which is
So,
impressive considering the Titans are worse
yeah,
than them and they are not statistically eliminated.
at this point, I don't, are they worse than them? Because apparently the Titans don't blow leads like crazy.
Yeah, I guess
It's,
that's fair. I
it's
guess
the,
I was just thinking in regards to talent
oh yeah, talent-wise, it's not even close. The Giants
rather
have
than performance. I was thinking in terms of talent.
I just it's insane and it's funny like in our group chat and well not our group chat my fancy group chat there's a couple of Giants fans and early in
Man, your
the
brother was probably screaming.
no he's not he just said early in the fourth quarter he just said they're gonna lose the game. I said come on have some confidence in your boy like no they're just going I know they're gonna lose the game and then once like they lost the game he just put like a meme like told you like he's just like clocked out just like I know they're gonna mess up somehow. They always just gonna mess
See,
up.
but I feel like as bad as it's been this season, I feel like there's actually a silver lining for Giants fans because, for one, they fired Shane Bowen today, which Giants fans are just ecstatic about because he was terrible.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that they have one statistic, I mean, at least on paper, they have one of the best D lines in football right now as a bad team. You have Dexter Lawrence, you have Brian Burns, you have Abdul Carter. I mean, you have guys who are making plays on that D line. Now, the rest of the defense is so bad that it compensates for how good the D line is. So that's got to be their number one focus. But think of how many games they've almost won. I mean, even when they didn't have Jackson Dart, even when they didn't have Neighbors, even when they didn't have Scatabo, think of how many games they've almost won. When they get those three guys healthy and go and draft some people on defense, they're my dark horse for next year to make the playoffs. I know it's
Uh,
frustrating now, and I would be crying if I was a Giants fan now, but I really think that there's a silver lining because if their defense was literally average, they probably would have won half of these games. So I think there is a silver lining. They have talent. When they're healthy, they have talent. I mean, look at what Wandale Robinson did. Bro had like two touchdowns and 130 yards, and he's not even a one.
well,
So,
that's just the
and Jameis Winston, he
yeah, that's
caught a
Jameis
touchdown. What?
because he's Jameis Winston. He's the most fun backup quarterback in
He
the
trucked
NFL.
someone. I mean, I just, how can you get anything better than that?
Well,
As bad as it feels for Giants fans, I know you're probably just hating your life, but you're gonna have a high draft pick in
I'll,
which you can take defense. You have talent on offense. I would argue you have talent on defense. You're going to go out and hire some coach who's better than Brian Dable. I mean, that's a pretty low bar. You're going to go out and get some kind of defensive coordinator who's better than Shane Bowen. I mean, I really, as painful as it is now, I really think the future is pretty bright for the Giants. I really think they have a shot of making the playoffs next year if they draft well.
well, yeah, that's going to depend a lot about who they hire as a coach because
That's true.
a bad coach can screw up a lot of things. My best guess is they'll go with a safe pick, like a Mike McCarthy kind of coach or someone like a safe pick for a young quarterback.
Brian
Also,
Flores or something.
I would for yeah, Flores be a good coach for the Giants, just someone a defensive minded coach. But did you see Malik Neighbors is he deleted a tweet quickly, but he Basically, he tweeted out like, "Are we throwing games or something?"
Oh dear. No, I didn't see that.
I have to assume like his age is like delete that now. I know you're mad, just delete it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it's very, very, very painful right now.
Yeah.
So painful. I'm so glad I'm not a Giants fan. But I really don't think I think the future is pretty bright. I really do. You have Andrew Thomas. I mean, he's like your bookend left tackle you don't have to replace. You even have Tyrone Tracy, who's a good, backup running back to Scatabo. I really think they have some pieces in place to be pretty good next year if they can get healthy.
Now the question is the future bright for the Minnesota Vikings? And
No.
okay, for
Next.
Mr.
No.
for Mr. Nine, I had like the funniest moment yesterday because I was talking to my dad and we were talking about the games. He didn't know like because JJ McCarthy calls himself nine like in like the fourth quarter and stuff. And so I was just going through like NFL like Twitter and Reddit, and I was telling him some of the stuff I was seeing like in terms of memes about that. And
So why does he call himself that? Am I
I
just
don't
like behind
I just
or
because he wears nine as a jersey, but I don't know what other reason there would be. But one of the things that
is he
was the,
impersonating Drew Brees? 9.
he's
That was his
impersonating,
number, right? I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it was 9. Yeah.
But one of the things is like you missed him by 9 yards or something. He just started dying laughing.
Yikes.
But
Yeah,
like
he has been
I thought he was gonna be.
painfully bad.
I didn't think going out coming out of Michigan, I didn't see the hype around him. I said this is a guy carried by the talent of Michigan and Harbaugh. Now, that being said, I saw Sam Darnold in that offense have an MVP caliber season. I said we're probably not gonna get MVP caliber from JJ, but as long as he's average, the Vikings are probably gonna be a wild card team. He's not even average. He is Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison are going to knock him out, like try to go jump him after one of these games because they're just like,
Okay,
we're right
here
here.
here's my thing. I know that he doesn't have the excuse of having multiple coaches because he's had Stefanski since no, not Stefanski, the other guy. What's his name? Um, I can't remember his name, but he's had the same head coach since he got there. Okay, so like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence went through a lot of coaches early in his career. Like for some people, you can use that as an excuse for Trevor Lawrence. That's why his development was stunted. You really can't use that for JJ because he's had the same coaches. He's had O'Connell since he came into the league.
Yeah,
But he did miss a season due to injury, and he's probably missed a third, if not more, of this season due to injury. Now,
yeah.
that's a different conversation. Is he injury prone? Is it worth signing him? Blah, blah, blah. That's for later. I'm just saying, I think people are starting to realize that development is not linear. Like, I think they probably need to give him more than this year before they move on, unless they just end up with the perfect prospect right in their lap during draft day. But I mean, look at the Daniel Joneses and the Sam Darnolds of the world. I mean,
It's
look at what happened. I mean, Sam Darnold was on what, 2 teams? I mean, look at what Baker Mayfield did. Baker Mayfield looked terrible, at some points, and now he's a really good quarterback for the Bucks. So, I mean, quarterback development is not linear like it used to be. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was more linear in the past. Like a guy would start, he was a backup, he'd start. Oh, look, he's really good. I feel like because that was just the crop of quarterbacks we had when we were kids, they were all really good. And it really didn't take long for them to develop. But that's not to say JJ looks bad. Like, I think that there's a fair argument that the Vikings could rebuild. I mean, you could probably get at least 2 first-round picks for Justin Jefferson if
and
you traded
but
him.
that's the problem.
So I mean, it's a fair argument.
But the thing is, they have a roster that's a win now roster, and they were hoping. And I agree with you in terms of no, it's like he's missed a lot of time. And comparing him to like say, Stefanski's from Cleveland with Shador. Shador looked terrible in his first week. Granted, he 4 for 16 in INT. He looked incompetent like I don't know what. Now this past week he looked a lot better. Granted, it's against the Raiders defense, but he still looked a lot better. You saw improvement.
Got to start somewhere.
And Baker's the same thing. Like Baker, he started off hot, slowed down, start off, got better, slowed down again. Granted, this past, even though, and I feel bad for Tampa. Tampa had like such a hot start to the season. Baker was an MVP candidate, and injuries hit them, and now they're probably the Panthers potentially could steal the division from them because Baker. They say he's fine, but
Oh, did you see that video of Bowles sending him out to throw that Hail Mary
I
and
don't
him
know what he
grabbing
was
his
doing.
shoulder after?
I don't know why they
Dude,
did that.
terrible.
I'd say, like, in that case, just put in the backup and let the backup just
Apparently,
chug
he was
it.
already hurt before that, and he sent him out anyway. Now, some people were saying it's Baker Mayfield. He probably begged his coach to get out there and didn't give a crap. He was hurt, which, in fairness, that may be true. But
But
how do
you're a
you send him
coach.
out there anyway?
Yeah,
I
you're a
mean,
coach. You're a coach. Tell him, like,
he
no,
was
sit
literally
down.
on the ground, like, ah.
Yeah, it's. But no, I agree in terms of that. In terms of McCarthy, um, I know one player like I just talked about Sam Donald. Donald's having he's helping JSN Jackson Smith and Jigba having potentially the greatest season receivers ever had. He's on pace to, and that might not be even the most impressive season this year because like Miles Garrett is on pace to have 25 and a half sacks. So I don't know. I was just spitballing this like which season, which record would be crazy? What would be crazy? Garrett breaking a sack record or JSN breaking 2K in terms of receiving yards?
I mean, it would probably be sacks, but let me preface this. Miles Garrett has had, correct me if I'm wrong, two five-sack games. Is that right?
He had one 5 sack game. I think he's had multiple 3 sack games.
Okay. What about the games that are not those games? Has he done anything? Because as great as his sack total looks, and as great as it is, I mean, the fact that he has 15 already is absolutely insane. I mean, not discounting it at all. I'm just saying, he's had so many sacks in a couple of games. Like, did he do anything in the games when he didn't have a sack? The only
It's
reason I bring that up is because JSN has popped off in pretty much every game this season. Now, I do think the sack record would still be more impressive because there have been way more elite receivers in the history of football than there have been elite pass rushers. So I still think sacks would be more impressive. I just think you got to look at, are they doing it consistently, or are they doing it because they're popping off for a couple of games a season and it's not incorrectly inflating their numbers, but you know what I mean. Like, it
no,
makes
no,
it look more consistent than it is. So for that reason alone, I would take JSN as the more impressive season, but I would take Miles Garrett as the more impressive record to break, even with not every game having a sack.
no. I agree because the thing about pass rushers is there's a lot of ways to stop a pass rusher by like double teaming them and stuff. Um, no matter what, like Jason, it's insane what he's doing and how much he was hiding in Seattle behind Lockett and Metcalf. But once he's able to pop out, he went crazy. And honestly, the only reason why I didn't put Jonathan Taylor in this category too, with his potential 2,000 yards or breaking Eric Dixon's rushing record, is because, and what I said last week with that game, I said Kansas City is just going to stack the box. They're going to say, Daniel Jones, you're beating us. And for the first half of that game, Daniel Jones was beating them. And I'm honestly
I
going.
have I have some thoughts on that. I have some thoughts.
My last thing I was going to say about this game before I let you go is I think I might just have a rule now that anytime you have two teams that are somewhat equal, I'm just gonna pick the team with a bad quarterback. Because these two teams are basically equals, and just Mahomes can make Mahomes plays, and Jones didn't, and go.
Okay, so here's the thing. Daniel Jones had a great first half. I think in the first quarter and a half, he was like 14 of 16 for 120 passing yards and a touchdown or two, something like that. Um, as much as the national media wants to blame Daniel Jones for this loss, which don't get me wrong, I do agree to some degree. I mean, they had four straight three and outs in the second half. I believe in the fourth quarter it was, which is just inexcusable. I mean, you can't do that. If you want to be a quarterback on an elite team, you can't do that. I mean, and stop. However, the play calling outside of the first quarter and a half was terrible. I don't know what Steichen was thinking. He literally gave up on Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was averaging 4 yards a carry. And now I know some of that was due to a couple of long runs that may have inflated it, but you can't just give up on him. Like, be more creative. If he's not working, running it straight up the middle into Chris Jones, get him some screens. Get him some halfback tosses. Like, go outside the tackles. Try something different because he gave up on him in the second half. Daniel Jones threw it like four times in a row on one drive and they went three and out. And I'm like, what, why are we not running the ball? Like, we have the best running back in football and we're not running it. Now, that does not excuse Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones definitely had some moments where he needed to make something happen, and he did not. So it is not to say it is not only on Steichen's play calling, but it was really bad in the second half. I mean, if you watch it, Daniel Jones was throwing it over and over and over and over. I'm like, can we run the ball? This is the second, at least the second time that this has happened this season. And Steichen, in his post-game interview, took credit for the loss because of his play calling. Dude needs to like put it together. This has happened more than once this season, and the reason that we've lost is because he's stopped using Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor had a couple of big runs. Don't get me wrong, Kansas City put up a good fight against him, and it was definitely way tougher for him than it had been in other games. But Steichen just gave up on him. I don't understand. Like, we had the game. We had a double-digit lead. We had the game, and he just gave up on him. I don't get it.
Well, it sounds to me we got the Last Crusade. We didn't get Last Crusades for Indiana Jones. We got Dial of Destiny. I was gonna get that. I was gonna get that pun in at some point. You know
I mean,
me.
you had to. It's just,
Yeah, yeah. Well, who knows? But learn more about our pain, our Steelers and Colts pain on our social media. Chelsea, tell us where you can find us at.
yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Tune back in on Thursday, where we will have a Thanksgiving release of our next episode. In the meantime, follow us on our socials. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Launch Codes Football. We are on Twitter at Launch Codes FB, and we also have a group chat on Chat BCC where we talk all things football. If you're interested in joining that, hit us up for the link and we can send that to you. I'm Chelsea,
I'm Daniel.
and we will see you on Thursday.
Happy Turkey Day, everyone.
Yay!